So how you structure your lifestyle isn't necessarily ever considered. And so in the same way that permaculture is a design science for permanent culture, replacing agriculture, I would like to share with you the idea of designing your life. Because we don't want to just live, we want to thrive. We want to live this amazing life. Oh, that's so cold. Whew. Well, welcome. This is my first video. You know, where to start? Well, lifestyle is a term that's often used to describe how you choose to live, and that really is the primary focus of the information presented on this channel. There's not anything as encompassing because I plan to group this all together to include tiny housing, homesteading, a quality of life, and not just any quality of life, but the lifestyle of luxury, the lifestyle of living as a king. Lifestyle is different for everyone, as is abundance. My personal story is that I got so sick and tired of working 9 to 5, coming home, sleeping, paying for a place to stay that wasn't mine, and then going and working more. And eventually I was fortunate enough that my company pretty much went out of business. Not my company, but the company I was working for as an employee went out of business. And it was at a time when there was an economic recession. And at the time it was very scary, but it set me on the path to realize that the old paradigm of getting an education, working for a firm or a company until someday when you're 70 years old, you'll get to do what you want to do. And that year off gave me the time to reflect and examine what I was doing with my life. In fact, there was no work to be found for a year. I cashed out my teensy tiny 401k. I paid off all the cars, and we managed to buy a small 3-acre piece of land that wouldn't even grow weeds. And we began to study everything on the internet about raising food, and that growth process has continued to where we have been able to overcome every obstacle and create absolute abundance with food hanging from almost every limb, from every bush, from every grass. Almost everything's edible. So we lived a year with no income, but also no bills. And taking odd jobs, we were able to live quite comfortably and eat exceptionally well. And after a year off from getting up when I chose to get up, and doing what I chose to do, making everything that I worked on produce for me and the benefit of my family, I learned that I really didn't want to ever work for anyone else again. So in the course of time, we have gotten to the point where basically we work about 40 hours a month, more or less, as I choose to. And I make more than enough money to not only pay our bills, but twice a year we can travel anywhere in the world and stay for a month or 2 months at a time. And honestly, for me, that's happiness. And I spend the rest of my time improving the property, soaking in one of my lovely ponds. And it really is such an incredible piece. And that's why I want to share that with everyone. Now, obviously, not everyone would be attracted to a lifestyle, but if we apply design principles to our lifestyle, then we can distill down the very essence of what it is that makes us fulfilled. And when you get down to the essence of it, and you find a way to cut out all the middlemen and go straight to the route and obtain the essence of what it is you want, then you don't need as much money. And you may even have to sacrifice for a time, but I believe it's entirely possible for someone making minimum wage to have their own home on their own land, work pretty much when they choose to at odd jobs, and to travel the world for maybe 2 months a year within 2 years of starting from nothing. So if these things appeal to you, then please subscribe and come back as we continue to share pieces of our story with you to reveal just how simple it really is. So how you structure your lifestyle isn't necessarily ever considered. And so in the same way that permaculture is a design science for permanent culture, replacing agriculture, I would like to share with you the idea of designing your life. And to, you know, in the preparedness homestead movement, they'll typically say you need water, shelter, food, sanitation, security, energy. And I would like to add at least one more to that, and that would be luxury. Because we don't want to just live, we want to thrive. We want to live this amazing life that feeds our soul. So in order to do that, if we design our lifestyle and we're intentional with every aspect, we don't let expenses, for example, run out of control. Most people, if they make more money, they buy a nicer car, rent a nicer apartment, or buy a nicer house. They make even more money, they get a nicer car, they get nicer clothes, they get a bigger house. And so I've met so many people that are actually well off, making in, you know, 3-4 million a year, and their lifestyle honestly is no better than somebody who is just flipping burgers, honestly. They struggle, they have to race to work, they start their day with a heart-wrenching and that flight or fight response kicks off their whole day, and from there on their day is pretty much ruined. Not to mention they spent all day working only to come home and just sleep in the house they are paying for, just to turn around and go back to work. So if we are intentional, we can design a lifestyle to include luxury. And that luxury needs to be scaled according to what you have now. This isn't go get rich and someday, right before you die, find out how to live the life you want to live and do the things you want to do. This is about how to do them now. So if you're tired of supporting other people's kingdoms and you don't want a job and you don't care to get more education, but you want a quality life that feeds your soul, then I invite you to come into my space, share the sacred journey, and to grow your person and to grow your life into a life of luxury and build your own kingdom. And that's why I call this channel Your Kingdom Come. Now, if this doesn't appeal to you, then please, by all means, go back to work, make your money, and do your job. But me, I think I'm going to pretty much continue to do what I've done for the last 3 days. I'm going to meditate, walk the property, eat fresh fruit, and take an occasional soak in one of many ponds. And I wish the very best to you. Thank you for listening. Hey, click the link below in the description and learn how you can attend the most complete AirCrete dome building workshop anywhere.